Most people think staying lean means no social life, no meals out, no flexibility. So what happens? They diet hard, they train hard, they get in shape, and then summer comes and it's the barbecues, it's the holidays, the drinks, the late nights, and suddenly all that progress disappears. Yeah, and they just end up in this constant cycle where they get in shape and then they lose it, and then they get in shape again and lose it. Yeah, now I actually had a client message me yesterday saying he was thinking about going for a few drinks with his mates because, you know, the weather was looking up. Yeah, it was looking a lot nicer, and he was worried that he was going to completely ruin his progress. You know, the scale was coming down smoothly. He's been loving the training, and he's been on such a high with how everything's going. But we immediately jumped on the call, yeah, and just put some simple structure in place to ensure that he was moving forward with his physique, with his progress, because that's all you need, guys. All right, that's all you're really missing right now. And for years, guys, that was the one thing I lacked. Yeah, I'd be known for the guy that would get in shape, you know, for an upcoming holiday, look good for a short period of time, and I'd lose it all. Yeah, I'd fall completely off the track, and I'd honestly end up looking worse than I did when I started dieting down, because I didn't understand at the time how to actually maintain the results. Because guys, getting lean is one skill, but actually staying lean, that's what most people never learn. All right, so I'm going to break down 5 rules in this video that allows you to actually stay lean all summer without having to miss out all the social events and live like an absolute monk for months on end and be the boring fucker. All right, because no one wants to be the boring fucker. Now, rule number 1 is always plan ahead. Yeah, now first things first, always plan before going into summer. I've made the mistake time and time again where I'd diet down for maybe 8 to 12 weeks, super low calories, high aggressive output, and I had all-inclusive booked, all right? And what happens, you know, there was a time I literally went to Malta and I got down to about 10% body fat for that holiday, and then I went straight on the holiday, straight on the drinks and all the all-inclusive food, the cake, and you're just blown up. Yeah, you're just blown up. You gain a shitload of weight back and you just look terrible. All right, so make sure you finish your cut properly. You want a proper reverse phase correctly where you're spending 4 to 6 weeks after your dieting to actually re-establish your normal calorie intake. Yeah, whilst reducing cardio, which will actually allow your body to stay lean after that. And after that initial phase, then you can start planning your training, your diet around social events that you actually want to enjoy in your calendar if you have a holiday coming up or whatever. But make sure you actually choose your events wisely. And also, calorie awareness, guys, throughout summer. You want to be in a small calorie buffer. Yeah, so ideally you want to be in a small deficit or just around maintenance. You want to work out your maintenance calories, because like I say, we aren't actually bulking, we aren't really cutting. At this point, we're just maintaining, we're just trying to stay around that 10 to 12% body fat range, 13 at an absolute push. All right, so what I used to do was literally calorie banking. Now, I don't recommend doing this all the time, but what I used to do was literally have protein and veg all throughout the week, and say I had a festival coming up, or you know, an event that you know you're going to require more calories, and a meal out, or you know, a social event, maybe someone's birthday and it's going to be a couple of drinks. Again, I don't recommend doing this, but that's what I used to do. All right, I used to just have protein and veg all throughout the week, so you have a lot more calories to actually play with when it comes to that actual event. What I still recommend is still having 2 to 3 structured meals. Yeah, so if you're someone that eats 4 times a day, have 2 meals, you know, 2 of your meal plans to ensure that you're actually staying on track. And then the other 2 you can remove and you can play with when you go to the restaurant or whatever social event you having coming up. All right, like summer is about maintaining. It's about maintaining momentum. It's not about extremes. So make sure you plan ahead. Rule number 2 is train consistently. All right, so many people get to their goal and then they just fuck it off. Yeah, they go back straight back to their shitty habits. All right, we still want to keep training in there. Yeah, we want to keep it at a good intensity. We want to be training hard. So if you know you've got an event coming up or something in the afternoon, training gets done no matter what. Yeah, box it off early, all right? What I recommend is getting a training schedule in place, the same time, 45 minutes in and out, all right? Don't be missing multiple sessions in a row, all right? Like, we want to be training consistent. It doesn't need to be perfect. At the end of the day, it's summer, you know, we ain't expecting to be packing on shitloads of tissue, but you still want to be stimulating your muscles, yeah? You don't want to get to the end of summer just looking like a skinny little bitch, all right? So we still want 3 to 4 weight sessions in there because that's all you really need. Yeah, you want to be preserving that muscle at this point. Yeah, you still want structure to your training no matter what. Yeah, there are no excuses to be skipping legs all summer, all right? I've done that time and time again myself. So for me personally, around summer, you know, back when in my partying stages, when I used to go out to the festivals and the holidays, which I'm now over, don't really do it anymore, but what I used to do was, yeah, train maybe 3 times a week, following the upper, lower, upper, or a push-pull legs, all right? You basically want to at least be hitting all the muscle groups that you actually need to hit, yeah? And take into consideration, if you got a holiday booked with the missus, with the boys, make sure there's a decent gym, all right? Decent gym access at a hotel or nearby. Yeah, you want to be staying and just looking sharp all summer, all right? So rule number 2 is make sure you train consistent. Now, rule number 3 is stay active. Yeah, it's summer. It is so easy. There are no excuses, all right? You want to be getting at least 10K steps a day. Like, seriously, come on, guys. Like, 10 to 12K, all right? I literally used to clock about 30K a day on average. And, you know, I'm still super active now, but I've dialed it down a bit. But just go top up the tan, yeah? Maybe go for a jog, maybe go for a run in the sun, all right? It's going to keep you looking lean. It's going to keep you looking sharp. Walk to the shop instead of driving. Like, stop being a lazy fucker, yeah? We live in a world where so many people are so lazy. And even when you're on holiday, all right, make sure you're walking to places. Move your body more. You know, instead of getting the bus or a taxi, just walk. Yeah, it's the easiest way to burn calories without fatiguing yourself. So, yeah, just walk more, guys, and be more active. And also another thing, all right, obviously make sure you're staying hydrated. Yeah, you know, higher activity, warmer weather, you're going to be sweating a lot more. And that means dehydration, all right? So, guys, you want to be getting around 4 litres a day, sometimes more, if you know, depending on your activity. And it's not necessary, guys, but if you follow me over on my Insta, you know the first stop I take in the morning is my morning electrolytes, more from a cognitive standpoint, but it just ensures that I'm adequately hydrated. So for instance, if you know you're going to a hotter country, yeah, you're going away, or you're going out for a few drinks in the afternoon with your mates, you might want to consider this. Yeah, because obviously alcohol, it's going to increase dehydration, and you want to make sure you have a hydrated body, because a hydrated body, it means better performance, it means better recovery, better appetite control, and you're just going to look better, all right? I used to have the crustiest skin and I look bloated, all right? But so make sure always that you're hydrated. Hydration is key. Now, rule number 4 is keep standards. Yeah, have fucking standards, all right? Still think of the person you want to be, yeah? The physique you actually want to hold on to. So you want to be eating intelligently, all right? Like, make sure you're having the higher protein options on the menu if you're going out for an off-plan meal or something similar to what you normally eat. Yeah, skip dessert. Don't be a fucking fanny, all right? Don't eat out of emotion. We all know when you demolish that sticky toffee pudding, it might feel good in the moment, but immediately after you feel like absolute shit. Yeah, so like, eat intelligently. Also, manage your alcohol properly. So if you know you're going to be going out, having a few drinks, obviously have the spirits instead of the pints, the fancy cocktails. It's going to be lower calories. Yeah, and like I said it for rule 1, choose your events wisely. So for instance, for me, in the past, I'd maybe tell myself I want to go to 3 festivals maybe one holiday booked, and yeah, that's literally it. And for the rest of that, I wouldn't choose to drink alcohol, all right? I wouldn't be going out every weekend getting smashed. It is literally a recipe for disaster to destroying your physique. And guys, even when you're going to these events, don't go to get absolutely wankered, yeah, and just look like an absolute spastic, all right? You want to be having a couple drinks, so maybe tell yourself before you're going to have 3 to 5 drinks, not 10 pints and a greasy fucking kebab, yeah? Like, hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't give in to peer pressure, all right? Like, you want to be looking physically sharp, but you also want to be mentally sharp throughout the week. So just learn to say no, yeah? Don't give in to that peer pressure. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Focus on your future, on your actual goals long term. So if you rather even just skip an event, you know, all your mates are going out to the pub, whatever, and you rather skip it, you'd rather not have a late night, and you'd rather go to the gym, just go to the fucking gym. Yeah, that is absolutely fine. Like, a lot of the time you end up regretting these nights out anyway. So that leads me on to my next point. Obviously, just make sure you're hanging around the right people. Yeah, not low standard people. If your mates are calling you gay or soft or whatever, boring, they ain't your fucking mates, all right? You need to fuck them off and do what is best for you. Yeah, hold yourself to the highest standard always. Now, rule number 5 is avoid the all or nothing mindset. Yeah, don't let one event or one cheat meal just turn into a bunch. Yeah, if you slip up, which we all do, you know, we're human, just get back on track, all right? One event doesn't ruin progress, but, you know, stacking up multiple unstructured days do. Yeah, one barbecue doesn't mean the whole weekend's written off. One skip session doesn't have to lead to a whole week off, all right? Summer is not an excuse to have a shitload of cheap meals and just get on it every weekend. Like, enjoy yourself, but always remember what truly matters. Because, guys, there is nothing worse than putting in the work for months on end, building a physique that you're actually proud of, only to let it slip all through summer, all right? You want to be maintaining it year round. You always want a bit of structure in place, because the goal isn't to get in shape, all right? It's to stay in shape. And if you want to build a physique that actually looks good year round, not just for one holiday, you can message me the words summer over on my Insta, Charlie Crawley Fit, and I'll show you exactly how to structure it. Yeah, but guys, build the body and keep the body. Let's go.